Okay, this is going to be a two-part video, so buckle in. We're going to do word problems. And there's a specific format that I want when you solve your word problems, okay? And it may be very, very new from what you've looked at. So the formatting, as you know, is a big deal in algebra. So the first thing is I'm going to set everything up into three separate columns, okay? Now, this first part, I'm going to identify my variables. The second part, I'm going to solve using an equation. And the third part is me using a full sentence to answer the question that the word problem is asking. So, let's take a look. The larger of two numbers is 4 more than the smaller number. If the sum of the numbers is 74, find the numbers. Okay, that just sounds like a bunch of words to me. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at what is the question asking. It says the larger of two numbers. So I'm looking for two numbers, right? Two numbers. And I have a large number and the small number. So the first question I'm asking is, which number is not being talked about? Well, it says the larger of two numbers is. So the large number is being talked about. The small number is not being talked about. So I'm going to let x be the small number. Yes, do you have to put let? It is a let statement. You are identifying your variable. So be very careful how you write this. Don't just put x equals small number. That's not what we're doing. We're letting x be the small number. Notice there's no equation sign. It's separated by a colon, okay? So very specific in the formatting. So we're going to let x be the small number, and then it says the larger of two numbers is 4 more than the smaller. So if x is the small, the larger number is 4 more than the smaller number. So we're going to let x plus 4 be the large number. And then I want to go back and look at it and make sure it makes sense. The larger of two numbers is 4 more than the smaller. The smaller one we don't know anything about. That's why we identify it as x. The larger is 4 more, which means addition. Now that I've identified those variables, I'm going to read the next sentence. It says, if the sum of the numbers is 74. So what do we know sum is? It means adding them. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, if I add x plus 4, the sum of that is 74. Now I have my equation, and I solve, combine like terms, 2x plus 4 equals 74. This part you guys are an expert at. Subtract 4, I get 2x equals 70. And when I divide by 2, x equals 35. So I let x be the small number, so x is 35. That means my small number is 35. So in full sentence, I may not do it, but you need to do it. The small number is 35. So what is the large number? Well, if the small is 35, I'm just going to evaluate. 35 plus 4 is 39. So the small number is 35, the large number is 39 because I just went back and I plugged it in, okay? Let's skip down to number 3. All right, so again, I want to do 3 separate columns. It says the larger of two numbers is 1 more than 4 times the smaller. Sounds like a bunch of gibberish to me right now. Which one's not being talked about? Well, it says the larger of two numbers is 4 more than the smaller one. So the one we know nothing about is the small number. So I'm going to let x be the small number. Now it says the larger is 1 more than 4 times the smaller. So 1 more is 1 plus. So I'm going to let 4x plus 1 be the large number. And I'm going to go back and look at that because it says the large number is 1 more than 4 times the smaller. 4 times the smaller is 4x, 1 more is plus 1. So I've identified my large number and my small number over here. Once this is set, it does not change. Okay, you've identified it, let's move on. Now it says if the sum of the numbers is 106, what do we know sum is? It means addition. So if I add the small number x plus the large number, 4x plus 1, that's going to equal 106. I have my equation. You guys are experts at solving equations. Combine like terms, 5x plus 1 equals 106. Subtract 1, 5x equals 105. Divide by 5, x equals 21. So what does 21 mean? It's x. X is my small number. So the small number is 21. And how would we find the large number? We go back and plug it in. We plug it in. 21 times 4 is 44, or 84, excuse me. 84 plus 1, which is 85. And does that make sense? If you took 4 times the small number, 4 times 21 is 4 times 21 is 84, and then plus 1 is 85. Yes, so it makes sense. Is the sum, if I add them, is it 106? It is. 21 plus 85 is 106, so I can check my answer. Okay? All right. Let's look at, no. Let's look at 4. All right. Again, 3 columns. The larger of 2 numbers is twice the smaller one. Which one's not being talked about? The small number. So I'm going to let x be the small number. And then it says the larger of 2 numbers is twice the smaller number. That's it. Just twice the smaller number. So I'm going to let 2x be the large number. Now remember, once you have these identified, you can't change it. You can't change it. We've identified it. We're going to move on to this column and set up our equation. So now it says if 12 is subtracted from the larger number, okay? If 12 is subtracted from the larger number, here's my large number. Subtracted from is a turnaround word. So that gives me 12 is subtracted from the larger number, right here. I set it up. The result is, what does that mean in math? It means equals. So the result is 7 more than the smaller number. More than. 7 more than the smaller number. Here's my small number plus 7. That's my equation. I've set up my variables, and then I read and translate what we've been doing all along. Now I solve, so I'm going to subtract x on both sides. X minus 12 equals 7. I add 12. I get x equal 19. So 19 is the small number because that's x. So small number is 19. And large number, if the large number is twice that, it's going to be 38. Okay? And then I can, of course, check my answer by plugging in 19 here and here. So 2 times 19 minus 12 equals 19 plus 7. 19 plus 7 is 26, and that's 38 minus 12, and that's also 26, so it checks out. So I can do a quick check to find out if it's true, and it is. All right, let's take a look at